In the previous lesson, we followed a single AI request through the entire system. We discovered that what looks like one customer interaction is actually a chain of inference, retrieval, safety checks, tool calls, and monitoring. The AI bill of materials gave us visibility into where every rupee was being spent, but understanding cost is only half the picture. Imagine two AI companies both spend exactly rupee 10 lakh every month on AI infrastructure. Yet, one becomes incredibly profitable while the other struggles despite having similar customers. So clearly, cost alone cannot explain business performance. We need another lens, not a metric that measures how much AI costs, but a metric that measures how efficiently AI creates value. That's what this lesson is about. Imagine two AI companies. They spend exactly the same amount every month, same cloud provider, same foundational model, same infrastructure budget, but there's one important difference. Company A consistently helps customers solve their problems. Company B generates more retries, more abandoned conversations, and more frustration. On the finance dashboard, they look remarkably similar, but economically, they're completely different businesses because AI companies don't make money simply by generating responses. They create value only when those responses actually help customers achieve something meaningful. That's the unit we need to measure. Calculate anything, we need to answer a surprisingly important question. What does success actually mean? The answer depends entirely on the product you're building. If you're building a chatbot, success might be a helpful answer. If you're building a coding assistant, success could be the developer accepting a suggestion search engine. It's helping the user find the right information. And for an autonomous agent, success isn't generating text, it's completing the task. Those AI businesses don't sell prompts, they don't sell tokens, they sell outcomes. Before you optimize your product, define exactly what success looks like. Everything else builds on that definition. Traditional software loved metrics like cost per user, cost per seat, or monthly active users. Those metrics worked because serving one customer cost almost nothing. AI changes that assumption. Imagine two customers on the same subscription plan. One asks 3 questions a day, the other generates hundreds of prompts, uploads documents, calls external tools, and repeatedly regenerates responses. Both customers pay exactly the same subscription fee, but one consumes dramatically more compute than the other. The customer count hasn't changed, the economics have. That's why measuring cost per user tells you very little about the health of an AI business. We need a metric that follows value and not users. Let's walk through something every AI product experiences. A customer asks a question, the first response isn't helpful, so they regenerate. The second response is still not good enough, they try again. Finally, the third response solves the problem. Now look at what happened behind the scenes. Revenue didn't increase. The customer didn't pay 3 times, but your infrastructure certainly worked 3 times. Every retry triggered another model call, more tokens, more inference, more retrieval, and perhaps more tool calls. This is one of the biggest hidden costs in AI businesses. We often celebrate customers staying engaged, but repeated engagement caused by poor quality is not success, it's operational waste. Every unnecessary retry silently increases your cost without increasing customer value. We now have all the pieces we need. In the previous lesson, we measured the total cost of delivering intelligence through the AI bill of materials. And in this lesson, we have defined what success looks like. Cost per successful outcome simply connects these two ideas. Take every cost from your AI bill of materials: direct inference, background inference, retrieval, tool calls, evaluation, observability, compliance, add them together, and then divide the total. not by users, not by prompts, but by successful outcomes. That number tells you something incredibly powerful. How much does it actually cost your business to create 1 unit of customer value? That's the metric great AI product managers optimize, because improving customer outcomes while keeping costs stable doesn't just improve the product, it improves the business. Let's build on what we learned in the previous lesson. Remember the AI bill of materials? It told us that every customer interaction isn't just an LLM call. It's the combined cost of inference, retrieval, evaluation, moderation, and the other supporting systems that make AI work reliably. Now let's imagine that after adding all those components together, one customer interaction costs about rupee 2.95. That isn't a magical number. It's simply the total cost of one interaction calculated using the AI bill of materials. Now, let's see what happens when we combine that with real customer behavior. Suppose one customer generates around 600 support interactions in a month. About 78% of those interactions successfully solve the customer's problem on the first attempt. The remaining interaction require retries or regenerations. Those retries still consume compute. When we account for those failed attempts, the cost of delivering one successful customer outcome increases to 3.86. The customer only remembers the successful answer. Your infrastructure pays for every attempt that came before it. Knowing your cost per successful outcome is powerful, but on its own, it still doesn't tell you whether your business is. We compare it with one more number: revenue per successful outcome. Imagine it costs your AI product 500 rupees to create one successful customer outcome. If customers generate 900 rupees of revenue for that outcome, you are creating healthy margin. But if the same outcome only generates 450 rupees, you're losing money every single time your AI succeeds. This simple comparison, revenue per outcome divided by cost per successful outcome, is one of the clearest indicators of whether an AI product has sustainable unit economics. Great PMs don't optimize for lower costs alone, they optimize for stronger margins. One of the biggest misconceptions about profitability is that it's entirely the finance team's responsibility. In AI businesses, product managers influence margin every single day. Better routing sends simple requests to smaller, cheaper models. Better prompts reduce unnecessary retries. Better retrieval improves first response quality. Better caching avoids paying twice for the same computation. None of these decisions increase pricing, yet every one of them lowers cost per successful outcome. This is one of the most exciting aspects of AI product management. Every product decision eventually becomes an economic decision. And when you reduce cost per successful outcome without reducing quality, you have created margin. That's not an engineering win, that's a product win. I'll leave you with one final insight. The first time you calculate cost per successful outcome for your own product, don't be surprised the number is much higher than you expected. In fact, most teams underestimate it by 1.5 to 3 times. Why? Because engineering naturally thinks in terms of successful API calls. Finance often thinks in terms of monthly infrastructure bills. Product managers have to think differently. We measure the cost of delivering one successful customer outcome, including every retry, every rejected response, and every failed attempt along the way. That's why CPSO gives you a much more honest picture of a business than, say, a cost per request ever can. In the last 2 lessons, we built the foundation of AI economics. First, we learned how to account for every rupee spent through the AI bill of materials. Then we learned how to measure whether that spending creates meaningful customer value through cost per successful outcome. But every business is more than a single feature or a single customer interaction. Product managers also need to understand the economics of a company as a whole. Which products are healthy? Which customer segments are profitable? What parts of the business are quietly destroying margins? To answer those questions, we need something bigger than a unit economic. We need a financial blueprint for the entire AI business. That is exactly what we'll build in the next lesson. The AI profit and loss genome. Think of it as a managerial P&L that connects product decisions, AI costs, and business performance into one coherent picture.